round and round in circles where the stomps no one knows, self-inflicted when I should love me. But I tend to think crazy days are exaggerated always, and that's a lesson learned. But I gotta make a change. I've got to redefine the truth. I gotta be truth. No one shares it better than you do. No one says it louder than you do. Be the truth. Truth. No one shines it brighter than you do. No one lives it greater than you do. Be the truth. I can't let me tear me down no more. That's not what my words before. So I've gotta tear them down to build me up. It's only when I've had enough. I've had enough. Word. But I gotta make a change. I've got to redefine my truth. I gotta be truth. No one shares it better than you do. No one says it louder than you do. Be the truth. Truth. No one shines it brighter than you do. No one lives it greater than you do. Be the truth. Don't live your life based on lies. Even if I speak these words to you, the truth has gotta come from you. Truth. No one shares it better than you do. No one says it louder than you do. Be the truth. Truth. No one shines it brighter than you do. No one lives it greater than you do. Be the truth. I am amazing. I am classy. I am a blessing. You're lucky to have me. I don't think you heard me though. Everybody say I am amazing. I am classy. I am a blessing. You're lucky to have me. I don't think y'all really feel me. One more time, everybody. I am amazing. I am classy. I am a blessing. You're lucky to have me. I think somebody's getting it. Let's try this one more time. Cut the music. Everybody say that I am amazing. I am classy. I am a blessing. You're lucky to have me.
Hey, how are y'all doing this evening? This is AMPspirationTTV, and I am your host, the Plum Queen. Well, it is Monday, Moon Day, first day of the week, and of course, I appreciate you guys giving me your time and your energy. Make sure you guys hit that share button, share, because you know we have to make AMPspiration go viral. All right, well, this weekend I had an amazing time. I went to a couple of events that were super dope out here where I live in Macon, Georgia. I'm definitely going to be talking about this And hopefully that if you guys are in the Macon, Georgia area, that you all will try to come out and enjoy these things. So on Saturday, I went to an event called Chill and Chat. Okay, so Chill and Chat, how I describe it, is kind of like, if anyone has heard of Derek Jackson, he has a game, a card game called Mentally Stimulate Me, where there's a host of questions, mature, you know what I'm saying, as well as, you know what I'm saying, I guess mine up like a little sexual, but it's supposed to give you a different date night, a different way to get to know people, you know, a different way to have fun. And like I said, it's very mature, and it's not, you know, your cliche going out to the club, having drinks and dancing and going home. All right. So it was a group of us. It was actually a great turnout. There were a lot of couples. There were also a lot of single people. And pretty much whomever had questions or wanted something that wanted to be discussed, they would write it down on a piece of paper so it could be anonymous. Questions go in a box, and the host, they ask the questions, and everyone goes around. Whomever has thoughts, you know what I'm saying, about it, they get to talk about it. So I thought this was very, you know what I'm saying, awesome, because, you know, as black folks in our community, we always tend to say that, you know, we can't get along, you know what I'm saying, we can't have, you know what I'm saying, an event without there being a problem, especially out here in Macon, Georgia. There's a lot of things that have been going on, at least as of late, where, you know, every time, you know, there's a restaurant open or a club opens, it's always an issue. There's always a fight breaking out, always somebody getting shot, somebody got to get locked up. And I feel like because this vibe needs to change. You know what I'm saying? You got to do different things. Like, I've lived in Macon for about 17 years now, and I've honestly never encountered that type of situation. Now, not to say that I go out a lot, but when I do go out, I don't worry about my life. I don't worry about issues. You know what I'm saying? I just go out, have a good time, and I get home safe. And I feel like if we had more events such as this, you know what I'm saying, with a mature crowd, you know what I'm saying, with people, even though we may have differences, you know, we can take that into consideration and still be able to coexist, you know what I'm saying, and enjoy ourselves, you know, without any issues. And I feel like Chill and Chat is the perfect, you know what I'm saying, event for that. So I didn't ask any questions, you know what I mean? But because I have a platform such as this, I, you know, wanted to see what other people, you know, wanted to say. Of course, I would give my, you know, my $2 in the situation, but I've gotten some amazing ideas for the show to talk about, because, you know, I definitely have my perspective. So there was a question asked, can a relationship last if the partners either have a different religion or a different lifestyle? Is it possible to have a successful relationship under those circumstances? So, of course, everyone, you know, has their opinion. A few people had opinions. There were a lot of religious people in the house, you know what I'm saying, that night. So, of course, your perspective, your religious or spirituality, you know what I'm saying, your spiritual walk, all of those things mold, you know, your perspective on, you know, how you feel about things. So, for me, not being religious and being open-minded, I believe that it is true and false. It depends. It can, you know, it can be successful. You know what I'm saying? It can not work. It depends on what your definition of success is. And that's what I got out of that. You know, everyone has a different perspective of what that is. There are some people who feel like they're not successful unless, you know, they accumulate certain material things. Unless they, you know, reach a certain financial status, that they're not successful. Then you have other people who feel like as long as they can, as long as their bills are paid on time, as long as, you know, they have their food in their fridge, they have all of their needs, you know what I'm saying, they feel like that's a success. So it all depends on how you look at it. So most people, you know, felt like, no, it couldn't. Especially when it comes down to your spiritual walk. You know, as when I was a Christian, you know, they have a saying where, you know, you're not supposed to be unequally yoked. So, you know what I'm saying? So if you walk the Christian path, you know, you personally feel like, nah, you would have to be a Christian. You have to be, you know, we have to be walking on that same path in order for our relationship to work. You know what I'm saying? But then you had others There was a couple, a married couple, where the husband had decided that he wanted to explore other religions. He wanted to, see what all other religions had to offer. He's a doctor, so I'm going to make the assumption that, when you are dealing with religion, different herbs and, spiritual walks and all the things that have to do with healing and studying, a religion would help you do that instead of just reading a book, actually living a lifestyle. That's how you truly get to know it. But his wife was a Christian. They were together for for a long time, but she allowed him to walk his path. She allowed him to do what he felt that he needed to do for himself as far as educating himself or whatever it is he choose, a lifestyle to walk. And she allowed him to do that with respect, and which is why it worked out for them. But then again, like you said, you have others, if you have a strict way of doing things, such as Christianity, you wouldn't be allowed to do that. You are not supposed, to take in consideration in any other walk of life, when it comes down to Christianity. It is God and God only, which is cool, but that's how that works. So it depends, again, on your mindset and how open-minded you are. Because again, she was a devout Christian, she, walked her path, but she respected him enough to allow him to do, what he felt was right. And, and I think that's cool. And that's why they have a successful marriage. Now, then there was a therapist who brought up a concept that I thought was very interesting. And she said it's preference versus principle. So I wanted to delve a little bit into that. So preferences, what are your preferences and what are your principles? That, those are the things that would determine whether it would be successful or not. Excuse me. So with for examples of preferences, like I now choose to, not eat meat. I'm choosing a, a holistic approach when it comes down to my health. Things that those are preferences, of mine. Now, me and my king, we differ a little bit in that, what I'm saying? So, but again, we respectfully allow each other to, to do what is we feel. If I decide not to eat meat, he's not going to give me meat. Or, if we go out to eat, or if we cook or something like that, he's going to respect the fact that that's not what I eat. And I will do the same vice versa. If I'm cooking for him, I know he's coming home, and I know that he wants a piece of chicken, I will cook him, some chicken or some turkey or whatever it is that he wants, because that's what he chooses to do. There's also another example of that. There's a woman in Florida who became vegan, raw vegan, and her husband didn't. Again, her husband decided to eat meat, all that good stuff, and continue to drink and all of that. So if you look at them, her husband looks like an old man. He looked like he's somebody's granddaddy, and his grandkids are this close to age to being able to have kids. His wife now, and mind you, they're in their 70s, she looks like a 40-year-old woman. You know what I mean? But they both, even though she wanted to change her diet and he didn't, she didn't, divorce him, because he decided that he didn't want to live a healthier life. She allowed him to do what he wanted to do. And this is why he looks the way he does and she looks the way that she does. But that works for them. It's all about, how you see it. And again, what is your definition of success? So those are little preferences. Then you have principles. So in the same example, when you're talking about diet and eating, there was a woman there who stated that when it comes down to diet and that type of lifestyle, that is a principle for her. She's she's very serious about about animals, about taking life and eating flesh, and in the the barbaric way, we go about obtaining meat. So for her, that's a principle. So she couldn't watch her mate or someone around her, just busting down a steak or, eating a piece of chicken. For her, that's morally wrong to her. So, yeah, anybody that she decides to be with could not be a meat eater. That would not work because for her, that's, a morale thing. not just, okay, you just don't like to eat meat. No, she feels like it's wrong to do it. So then for her situation, that would not work diet-wise. You see what I'm saying? So preferences versus principles. I feel like depending on who you are is how you decide what is a preference and what is a principle. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, again, most likely your spirituality you would consider the principle. See what I'm saying? Hey, Krista, as a matter of fact, Krista J. Rumpf. She is the coordinator and CEO of the organization that hosts this Chill and Chat. So if you want to holler at her, I told you if you're in the Macon area, you should absolutely check it out. It's once a month. It's super dope. I appreciate you putting that together, girl, because not only did I have a great time, I have a host of ideas and topics, you know what I'm saying, for my show. So I really appreciate, you know what I'm saying, the amazing time. Okay, so back to it. Preference and principle. So again, your preferences and your principles. Principles I see as morals. Preferences are things, you know what I'm saying, wants. You know, I like to wear the color blue. I like to wear cut-off jeans, things of that nature. So when it comes down to relationships, you know what I'm saying, your principles need to be the same. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like preferences should be respected. I feel like if respect is the major key to the whole situation. When you respect somebody, regardless of how you see it, you will allow them again to do what it is that they feel like they do, and it won't offend you when you respect someone's differences. You know what I'm saying? And this is a different perspective of it, because I know, you know what I'm saying, with marriage, you know what I'm saying, and religion, you feel like when you get married, you guys become one. You become one, you know, one flesh, one blood, and all that, you know what I'm saying, all that, which is, I understand. I feel a little different, and this is where the respect comes in. Because when you're saying to yourself that we are one, again, that means that you're not individuals anymore. That is, you know what I'm saying, that is consensus of that. Y'all are now become one individual. And the fact of the matter is, that's not true. You guys are a unit. You know what I'm saying? Like-minded and all of that. Y'all should definitely have the same vision for life. But you are still individuals at the end of the day. You're born by yourself. You die by yourself. It's also, you know what I'm saying, expressed, you know what I'm saying, in Christianity that when you go in front of God, it's only you there. That, you know what I'm saying, that's what it said. So with that, I feel like we should look at the relationships, you know what I'm saying, the same way. Even though we are a unit, we are still two individuals that make up this whole. And each individual needs to be on point for that whole to be on point. You see what I'm saying? So if one individual, if they're not in sync, that's going to make the whole an issue. So this is why I feel like allowing people to, again, find out who they are, figure out what their preferences are, figuring out what their principles are, figuring those things out prior to getting into a committed relationship. I feel like that, you know what I'm saying, would help. Because again, you can believe what you like, you know what I'm saying, your path is your path. You know what I'm saying? But if you make those decisions, a lot was said about, you know, communication and being honest. A lot of us are not honest with, you know what I'm saying, with ourselves, not even just our partners, because again of this perspective of what a relationship is supposed to be like and what we deem as success. See, if it doesn't look like this, then it's not successful. So we are willing to tweak who we are and how we really like things or whatever, just to have that, you know what I'm saying, that persona, or, you know what I'm saying, that vision of success. And a lot of people are unhappy because of this. So this is why I feel like you need to truly understand who you are. And that's why I have brought up something that I got a lot of gasp in the room. I believe that you should not, you know what I'm saying, get legally married to anybody that you have not dealt with at least a decade, or at least close to it. So, of course, a lot of people who not agree with that, you know what I'm saying? No one wants to wait, you know what I'm saying, 10 whole years, you know what I'm saying, to tie the knot. But I honestly feel like that's what needs to be done. Again, y'all been going through the motions of how, marriage is, again, marriage is supposed to work. And as you can see, divorce is on an all-time high. You know what I'm saying? People are unhappy in their relationships. And I understand there was another point made about we look at relationships about happiness all the time, and that's a problem because, you're not going to always be happy. And I do agree with that. But you do need to be at peace. Maybe happiness may not be the word to use because no, you're not going to always be happy, but you should absolutely always be at peace and balanced in any relationship, you know what I'm saying, that you're in. That you should absolutely have. You know what I'm saying? But it's hard to do that, again, if you are not honest with yourself about what you want. What do you really want? And how do you really know a person? After a year, 2 years. I have seen so many different types of relationships. I've been exposed to a lot of different things. I've seen people change. You know what I mean? Like, there was another point made, how you making a decision when you're young, like you could be in your 20s, you fresh out of high school or whatever, and y'all think y'all in love. You know what I'm saying? But then, 10 years later, I think she was like, when you're 23, now that you're 33, like I'll be 35, you know what I'm saying, on my next birthday. I absolutely do not think, feel, look at life or anything the same way that I did when I was 25. Absolutely not. I am not that same person. As a matter of fact, I felt like I was a grown child at 25. I wasn't taking care of myself. I still lived with my mom. Yeah, I didn't have a lot of responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? So I looked at life differently. Now it's different. You know what I mean? And let's just say, if I did not love, or, you know what I'm saying, whatever energy I was giving out when I was younger no longer resonates with who I'm with, should I be subjected to just stay? I don't believe so. Again, we are all individuals. And what I feel true love is wanting the other person to be at peace, to be balanced, with or without you. That to me is what real love is, because that's selfless. We are not possessions. I know when you get married that, you know what I'm saying, it seems that way and that's the narrative, but you're not. You even your children are not your possessions. We are all individual beings. When we come into this world, we have our own purpose, our own, fulfillments in this life. People are not your possessions. And that's why a lot of people, at least, and I know as far as men go, they don't like getting married. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to push them there because of that possession. I don't want to be with nobody that don't want to be with me. I don't care how long we've been together. If that vibe, that frequency breaks, then I want you to go and find, you know what I'm saying, wherever it is that you can be in sync. That's me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been in a relationship for over a decade. So, I know everything there is, you know what I'm saying? And then even still, it's still a learning experience. But him and I have gone through a lot of storms. We've both seen each other at each other's worst. We've seen each other at our best so far. So I know if we ever decide to make that decision, I know exactly what I'm getting into. I know exactly who I'm marrying. I know exactly, you know what I'm saying, what forever, you know what I'm saying, is potentially going to look like. So that is a decision that I'm going to be making, you know what I'm saying, with all information. Not just based off my emotions, not just based on, you know what I'm saying, because I love him. And, when it's good, it's good. I know even when it's bad, that I still want to be there, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying, I didn't give a full example of this, but I was in a relationship. I've said this before, but I was in a relationship when I lost my arm. I had been with that individual for about a year and a half, and we were talking marriage. He was talking about getting me a ring. But then we got into some financial situations. Me and my mom, had a little issue, so I had to move up north, with him and his family or whatever. That didn't work out. He moved somewhere else. I had to go somewhere else, but he moved with a female. At the time, I felt like, it's all right. He gonna go there, get his money together. I'm gonna go ahead and get my money together, and then we gonna meet back in the middle because, we trying to survive and all that. That's what I felt. I lost my arm. He stayed where he was with, with the female that he decided to use to try to get us back on our feet. And he didn't come back. He was down south. He was close enough, to come, to come back and, take care of me, his woman, the person he was going to marry. But out his own mouth, he was comfortable where he was. After a whole year and a half of me giving him everything that I could possibly give. Lost my arm. Left me. See what I'm saying? But in hindsight, it was the best thing that could happen. Everything happens for a reason. Everything. I was not supposed to be with him like that. To be quite honest, the woman I am today would not have coincided with the man that he was then. I don't know who he is now, to be quite honest, because we have not been in contact, in a while. I am cool with his family, but I don't know who he is because I'm not around him. But I know the woman I am today is absolutely not the female, not the woman that he was with. And I don't know, if he was supposed to come on this journey with me. And I'm cool with that. I want him to be happy. I loved him. When I tell you I love you, I mean that. So I want nothing but the best for him. Whatever it is, his life, whatever his life path is, I want him to fulfill that. But you weren't supposed to be over here. But if if I was going by with my thoughts and my emotions at the time, we was about to get murdered. That was my man. But I learned early that it doesn't matter what you do, what you bring to the table. A person that's not for you is not for you, and you cannot force that. And a lot of people tend to do that. You put in time into your relationship and all that good stuff, and when it comes down to it, you want that end result. And if you don't get to that end result, you don't feel like your relationship is successful. And we need to change that mentality. Forever is a long ass time. Forever. Forever. I want you to forever. There is no rush. There is no rush to do that, because to be quite honest, again, I know people say that it's not a piece of paper, but it really is, guys, because let's keep it a buck. When you're going through divorce, are they asking you about your love? Are they asking you about your, relationship with your higher power? Are they asking you, about your feelings? No, they're talking about properties and splitting children and splitting cars and assets. That's what goes on. That paperwork, that's money. That has nothing to do with the way y'all connect with each other, the life that y'all are building, the children that you make. That piece of paper don't talk about none of that. So it's just a piece of paper. It truly is. How you connect with one another, that's what's important. That's your foundation. That's what your children, that's where your children come in. But you have to make how do you make a decision like that? No, knowing somebody for just 2 years. How? Some people don't even know themselves. I watch the soap operas, right? That's what I call white ratchet TV. Because they be doing the same stuff on Love and Hip Hop, but they just a little bougie with it, and they rich and whatnot. So there's a particular storyline where this guy, he's pretty much been a fuck up his whole life. His mom, he was an illegitimate son. Mom sent him off to boarding school, and he pretty much screwed up through life. Now he's 40 and some change. Finally got back with his wife and his children, finally making the right decisions. And then all of a sudden he goes through this midlife crisis. He now, he has the corporate job, but he's not satisfied. He's not happy. You know what I mean? Because his whole life, he's been doing what he feels everyone else wanted him to do. Not what he truly wanted, what his true purpose is. So now he has these two small children who are looking up to their father. Y'all have been teaching them the, the regular or, the normal way of living life and all of that. But he's a thrill seeker. You know what I'm saying? He's actually an addict. He used to gamble. So now it's almost like he needs to have drama in his relationships just to feel alive. And here's the thing. He has a right to feel that way. Everyone should find out who they are. But he should have did that before he got married and had 2 kids. You know what I'm saying? That's not fair to your children. But it's also, he needs to find who he is. Because if he don't find out who he is, he's going to self-destruct. And that's not going to be good for his children either. It's not good, to front for your kids. I know a lot of people feel like that's what you got to do, but I promise you it's not. You're not teaching your children what love and, how to truly react with the opposite sex. You're not teaching them what that looks like. And it's up to you as the parents to teach your children what that looks like, or TV and YouTube will. I got a homeboy, I've said this before. He watched his father and his mother and, how they worked out with their marriage. His father used to bring his mother flowers every week. Faithfully. All the way up until they retired. Bought her flowers every week. Do you know what my homeboy does? Buys his wife flowers every week. Because that's what he saw. You have to teach them. If you're at home and you and your spouse are are interacting with each other like y'all just business partners, or no passion, no love, no booty slapping, no kissing, no none of that. You're teaching your children that is how their household is supposed to be run. That's how their relationships and how y'all supposed to react to one another. And who wants that? You wanna be in a relationship where you ain't yes daddy and all of that stuff? Don't you want passion? So how are your children supposed to know that's how that's supposed to be done if you're not doing it? This is why you need to make sure that relationship you're in is what you want. Because once you start having those babies, they are, they do have to be taken accounted for. You now no longer can really think about yourself. It's no longer about you. Because now you've decided to bring life into this world. So now you've decided to take care of them. And I understand that wholeheartedly. Me and my mom are cool now, but when we were younger, I definitely felt like she wanted to pretty much, she tried to finagle raising me, and finding the love of her life at the same time. And from my perspective, things lacked. You can't give all your attention, when you're talking about giving attention to a man and giving attention to your children, it seems to be different when both of the parents are not, in the part, because he was not my dad. So that seems to be different when you're finagling that. And in my opinion, from my perspective, there were certain things that were lacking because she was trying to spread herself thin, because she was trying to live her life at the same time, as raise me. And there were times when I absolutely, felt that I wish that she would have, put that aside to make sure that I was straight in certain ways. I probably would have made different decisions. I probably would have different perspectives on certain things had she not done that. But it is what it is. See what I'm saying? She should have. My mom was young. She had me young. She was 19 years old when she got pregnant with me. She did not know who she was. She didn't get to figure that out before she had a child. So she had to figure herself out while raising me. And that's a hard thing to do. It gets done every day, But that's a hard thing to do. And again, like I said, things are going to lack somewhere. So these are the things that we need to think about before we jump into these committed relationships. I understand, you know what I'm saying, and you know what I'm saying, from a religious standpoint, the whole shacking up thing, you're not supposed to live with somebody until, you know what I'm saying, y'all make that commitment. I understand where it comes from, but in 2020, that is not intelligent. This is not even about morale. It's about intelligence. You do not know people. Nowadays, you know what I'm saying, you meet folks online. That's the new way of dating. It's not like it was back in the days where it's just your neighborhood. Everybody, you know what I'm saying, you more than likely are going to marry the person that lived next door on the same block as you because y'all all were a community. You grew up, you went to the same schools, you went to the same church, you went to the same programs. You know what I'm saying? So it makes sense. All your parents knew each other's parents. You know what I'm saying? So it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Why, you know what I'm saying, that would have been that way back then. But now it's different. Nowadays, these kids, they have whole friendships with people that your parents never know about. They got cell phones and all that jazz. Folks they're talking to, their parents have no idea that they're talking to. It's dangerous out here. And that's just on the dangerous part. We're not even going to talk about the little intricate little things that you don't know about a person unless you live with them. How can you truly make that decision if you don't know who this person is? Because you meet your representative, you know what I mean, when you out in the world. I don't care what nobody say. You and I walking around, you know what I'm saying, with coal in your eye, boogers up your nose, your wedgie, you know what I'm saying, in your butt. Those little, you know what I'm saying, things that you know when you're in your house that nobody sees. Yeah, that person that is signing up for that. That's what you're signing up for. Forever, remember? So you're signing up for all the little things that may annoy you. If you don't like how they snore, or, you know what I'm saying, you hate how they pick their teeth, or, you know, stupid little stuff like that. I know a homegirl, her husband, you know what I'm saying, don't know how to wipe his ass. Grown ass man, and don't know how to properly wipe his ass. But she got to deal with that because that's her husband. Had she known that, would she have still made that decision? Would she have signed up, you know what I'm saying, to wash skid marks forever? See, yo, I'm serious about hygiene. Very serious about that. I've been exposed to men who are just as clean as women. So now that is a standard. I can't be with you. I can't even sleep with you. I can't even think about none of that unless you're clean. But how am I supposed to know that? Again, when you come out, if we take me out a day, you're going to come up there sharp. You're going to make sure you wash before you come and see me. You're going to put on your cologne. You're going to make sure you brush your teeth. All that good stuff. Even if you come into your house, you know a new girl that's coming up, or vice versa, you make sure the house is clean. You know what I'm saying? You make sure you straighten everything up and all that because you know this is a new person and you trying to, you know, reel them in. But as soon as you get comfortable, all that shit go out the window. And now you're dealing with the real person. Are you willing to deal with that forever? Because once you know what I'm saying, once you say I do, you can't be complaining about it. You just, you know what I'm saying? That's what you signed up for. So I just personally, for me, you absolutely need to live with somebody before you marry them. Absolutely. Another thing, when it comes down to sex, I understand. I personally feel that we are completely overly sexual, you know what I'm saying, society. We definitely make that more important than everything else in the relationship. It's really bad, really needs to change. But being realistic, we are in a day and time where sex is a big issue. So, how are you going to stay? You're going to be with somebody forever and you don't know how that works. So you're going to be unsatisfied for forever? That's where a lot of infidelity comes from. Because people aren't satisfied. And according to, that's the one and the only person, the last person you're supposed to sleep with. forever. You can't dibble dabble nowhere else. So it's this individual's job to please you. What if y'all have a different perspective on what that is? I know plenty, you know what I'm saying, of females who was doing all this extra shit for their man, trying to bag him. Acting like they like all this extra, kinky stuff, trying to bag him. And then once they bag him, they try to renege. Nah, I really don't want to do all that. Nah, I really wasn't with that. But I don't want to use the word trap, but you know what I'm saying? You made this man believe that this is what he was signing up for. You made him believe that he was going to be getting this forever. And now you done switched up because that's not really what you was about. See how that works? Then you get married. Then you're unsatisfied. Then you go meet somebody, you know what I'm saying, that you're attracted to because you're not getting that satisfaction at home. You don't feel sexy. You don't feel this, whatever it is. Because as your significant other, you are supposed to breathe life into your partner. That your partner's supposed to make you're supposed to make your partner feel like they are the finest, the bestest, you know what I'm saying, the only thing walking, smoking. That's how you're supposed to make your partner feel. You're not supposed to allow someone else to make them feel that way. Because there's going to always be temptation. There's always going to be somebody else that you're attracted to. It's a thing that we feel like, once you get married or you get with somebody, that all of a sudden you go blind. And, you know what I'm saying, now all of a sudden everyone is ugly or, unattractive. And that's just not true. You're still going to find other people attractive. You know what I'm saying? But if you're at home, if you're being satisfied at home, it don't matter who the finest chick. I don't care if she got the smallest waist, the biggest boobies, the fattest behind, you know what I'm saying? Tall, bow-legged, all that stuff that y'all looking for. That chick can walk right in the room and it won't mean a thing. Because you got all of that at home. Why you gonna go chase after something that you already got? See what I'm saying? These are the things that you have to figure out before you get married. So yeah, you need to figure out what your partner, likes, what they don't like. Well, you know what I'm saying? The thing, and you have to be honest. Honest with yourselves. Honest, you know what I'm saying, with your preferences and your principles, to bring it back to the topic. You have to be honest about that. Have these conversations. People don't have conversations anymore. You just meet, like each other, eat some food, go home, have sex, you know what I'm saying, and just do that over again until now we've been eating and having sex and going out and having fun, so now we should just make this permanent. But you're not really having the conversations that need to be had. What's important? Again, forever. Forever. We got to be honest, people. And I understand you feel like time, you know what I'm saying, we don't have it. Don't get me wrong, time definitely ticks. But anything that's worth having is worth working for and waiting for. Again, it's forever. Whether you get that, whether y'all get to the ceremony, you know what I'm saying, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, if y'all supposed to be forever, what does that mean? What does that matter? You know what I'm saying? Just think about it. People spend all this money on weddings and they get divorced. 2 years later, you spend thousands and thousands of dollars on the dress, on other people's dresses, on the venue, on the flowers, you spend all of this money, all this dough, and then find out that y'all don't really like each other. Now that you're obligated to be with each other, now you don't want the obligation. So you just wasted, whoever spent the money, I don't wasted all of that money for a situation that did not last. I think if you make it past the 10 years, that's when you should get to the wedding. I think it's worth the stacks then. Because you can pretty much tell that, I know we did this. We made it this far. So it's for real. You know what I'm saying? So let's commemorate that. That's just me though. You know what I'm saying? I watch other people's situations. Like I said, I've seen all types of marriages. I've seen all types of relationships. You know what I'm saying? And most of the people out here are just extremely unhappy, extremely imbalanced. And again, y'all are teaching this to your children. Y'all don't think about that. You think kids don't understand or don't see what you're doing or they don't get it. They do. They absolutely do. And you are training them to be the same way. We got to do something a little different. You want different results, you got to do something different. The definition of insanity is doing something over and over again, expecting a different result. So again, if what you've been doing does not work, you should try something else. Because you were not born or made to come into this world and be unhappy or be unbalanced. There's nothing that anyone can ever tell me to believe that. Everyone should be, you know what I'm saying, should be at peace. Try not to use the word happiness. But everyone should be at peace. Everyone. You should not just be in a situation and just be deemed, you know what I mean, to suffer. Now, you absolutely have to, you know what I'm saying, take responsibility for your actions and the decisions that you make. But it is not your destiny, you know what I mean, or your purpose to just be responsible for other people and other things. You have to take care of yourself as well. You are no good to anyone else if you're not okay. You really can't be a good husband or a good wife if you're not okay. You can't really be a good mother or good father if you're not okay. You can't do your job well if you're not. Nothing that you can't do anything properly when you're not okay. So that's why you need to make sure you're okay first. Now, if you're already in a situation, I get that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, rethink some things. But if you're in a position now where you don't have children, you know what I'm saying? You haven't made that commitment. Rethink that. Make sure you know what you are doing. I'm not saying don't get married. I'm not saying that. I feel like marriage is an amazing thing. I personally feel like sex is marriage. That's going to be a whole nother situation. That's a whole nother topic. Because I personally feel like having a child with somebody, having sex with somebody is the deepest connection that you can possibly have. Like I said, you cannot tell me that literally being inside me is more connected than, is less connection than me signing a piece of paper. You can never explain that to me. When you have sex, y'all are that is the closest to being one as you gonna get. You're literally, as for a man, you're literally inside her. Having sex is the way to give life. That should be the most sacred thing in the world. Life. We look at it as just some willy-nilly thing, and I think that's the problem. I know a lot of people say, you can have sex with anybody, but that piece of paper. See, no. You should not be just having sex with anybody. You shouldn't even think that that's okay. Don't you know when you have sex, you exchange DNA? You exchange energy? Don't you know that? Don't you know that you have to truly detox yourself from another person? You can bring someone else's energy to somebody else? You don't know that? So for me, you know what I mean? I would be a little bit more selective on my sexual partners than all that other stuff. Having a baby with somebody is the ultimate commitment. Again, you can get a divorce. But until you leave this earth, you're going to always be connected to that person because y'all made a person. You manifested a whole human being that has both of y'all energies in it. Y'all are connected forever, ever. I don't care if you go off and marry somebody else. You can go across the country. You can go to a whole nother planet. Your offspring connects you to that person forever. Don't matter if you get somebody else. Guess what? That person is still in your life. You still have to deal with them off the strength of your child. So they never go away. You divorce somebody and y'all don't got kids, once that divorce is final, you don't ever have to speak to them again. You can move out of state. You know, like I said, move to another planet. Don't ever have to be connected to that person again. But when you have a child with somebody, they are forever there. And y'all have to find some kind of way to figure that out for the sake of your child. Because your child loves you both. Your child doesn't care about the little, unnecessary nonsense that's between y'all. They love you both equally. They need you both in their lives. So you have to figure something out for the strength of your child. How do y'all not see that? For me, sex is marriage. Especially if we're year in, year out, year in, year out. Yeah. That's just me though. See what I'm saying? So, preferences and principles. You need to figure out what your preferences are, what your principles are before you make a commitment. There's really no excuse for you not to do that. That's what courting is for. That's what dating is about. To get to know these things. Let's stop going out to eat and drink and have sex in this dating, in the dating phase. Figure out who you are with. And if you don't know who you are, you should not be getting married to nobody. Figure out who you are. Because once you figure out who you are, to be quite honest, you're going to attract the right person. Because the right person for you is going to love, accept, and deal with everything that you are. Flaws, perfections and all. Doesn't matter who you are, who you become, or who you evolve to, the right person is going to evolve with you. That's how that works. So again, focusing on self, getting self right, understanding who you are and what it is that you want out of life, what you want out of your relationships, what success is to you. And once you figure that out, then, you go out in the world and do that. But let's stop putting ourselves in, in situations that aren't necessary just simply because we're trying to rush something, because you're trying to find love. Again, self-love. It always starts with self. To be quiet, if you really think about it, think about the relationships that you've been in. Think about what you have really been in those relationships if you felt a certain way about yourself. I know for a fact, that I would not have been in either one of my other two relationships if I felt a different way about myself. I was very insecure growing up. So when I finally got, finally a man, found interest in me, I jumped right on it. I didn't ask those questions. I didn't even care to figure out who he really was. All I was worried about is getting affection from a man. And both times that I did that, I won't say I got screwed, but the situation ended. And I didn't get what it is that I was sorting out of that. I was dating them and I loved them and I thought we was going to be together forever. That's what I was thinking. But that didn't happen. So I needed to, I should have been in a better space. Like I said, if I loved myself, if I understood my worth and who I was, I wouldn't have even dealt with them. We'd have been, not to say we wouldn't have been cool, but it definitely wouldn't have became a relationship type situation. Because there were red flags there were red flags, blue flags, green flags, black flags. There was all types of flags, going around in both of those situations. But again, because I wanted love, and these were the only two individuals at the time, that were showing me that, I did not want to let that go. So I pushed that stuff to the back of my mind and dealt with it. And my universe put me in a position where I had to deal with it. Hence, me losing my arm. Not to say that was the reason for me losing my arm, but me losing my arm put me in a space where I had to think about me. I couldn't stunt what what he was doing. It didn't even matter, because you know what, girl, you need to learn how to write. You need to learn how to take care of yourself. You need to learn how to, do all types of things. You have to learn how to live now. You ain't got no time to be worrying about what he doing, where he's at, and why he ain't here. That's what my storms, you know what I'm saying, put me in a position, you know what I'm saying, to do. And I'm very grateful that that's what I did. Because I know plenty of people that will fight to the death to hold on to a situation that no longer serves them. So I do not recommend anybody to do that. Again, believe how you feel. Again, walk your path, walking in truth. But I personally do not feel that anyone should stay or be in a situation that does not serve them in peace. Figure that out. You can take care of your children, you know what I'm saying, and set good examples for them. You don't have to stay in a situation to do that. I mean, how many kids don't have parents, but they're teachers, or, you know what I'm saying, they're mentors, you know what I'm saying, who teach them and help them become better people. Those are not their parents now. They're not responsible for them on a regular basis, but their presence in their life, whatever it is that they do for them, you know what I'm saying, is helping them grow. So it's the same thing. As long as you're in your children's life, you know what I'm saying, you're taking care of them financially, all the things the way that you feel you're supposed to do that, then you're good. You're absolutely good. Because kids don't understand that. All they really want is stability. Their norm. That's how they learn. That's how you learn. Stability. That's how you learn how to read. That's how you write. Repetitiveness. So if they see their parents on a regular basis, that's what they want to see. But if you know what I'm saying, and that person are not vibing or coinciding, then y'all need to, as individuals, make yourself good. So whenever your child sees y'all together or by yourselves, it is still good energy. It's still positive. You see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Your sons and your daughters need to see y'all happy, guys. You talk about these kids and, you know, how they act and they don't have any morale, and that's because they're not being taught. That's not what they see. This TV and YouTube are raising them. And all they see on TV and YouTube, you know what I'm saying, is a bunch of arguing and fighting and sex, drugs, and that's all they see. They're watching Love and Hip Hop, and this is what's teaching them how they're supposed to deal with the opposite sex. So you can't really be mad at them for doing what they're being taught. They're out here teaching themselves. Back to the decisions that we make. So we have to do better. So preference versus principle, I think that is a really good concept. Something that, like I said, everyone should consider when you're dating and things of that nature. Figure out what it is that you want. Figure it out is what you can deal with, you know what I'm saying, and then make that decision from there. Stop making these decisions after, you know what I'm saying, you've made the commitment. After you've already fell in love or gotten digmatized or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying, whatever it is going to put you in the position to want to stay now. Figure that out first. Please. You're doing yourself, you know what I'm saying, you're doing self a favor, you're doing your future kids a favor, even the individual that you're potentially going to be with. Y'all can be saving yourselves heartache, pain, nonsense, issues. You'll be avoiding all of that if you make the right choices before you get your emotions caught up. Because see, once feelings get involved, everything becomes blurry. That logic goes out the window when feelings get involved, especially when you talk about us females. You know what I'm saying? Like I always say about myself, I'm a very emotional person. So once I love you, once I attach my heart to you, you know what I mean? That's about it. And it takes a lot to get over that. And yes, I do take into consideration, I will let things slide because I love you. I would, you know what I'm saying, I give chance after, you know what I'm saying, because I love you. So with my situation, like I learned from those mistakes. So like I've been in a situation for a long time. If I ever dissolve, you know what I'm saying, my relationship for whatever reason, trust and believe me, there's going to be a process before I even think about, you know what I'm saying, going back out there. I'm going to reevaluate my wants and my needs and my preferences and my principles. I'm going to make sure that I detox, You know what I'm saying? Myself from this man, because I have been attached to him energy wise, you know what I'm saying, DNA wise, for a very long time. And I don't need to bring that energy with somebody else. I don't need to be thinking about him, you know what I'm saying, when I'm with somebody else. So I need to make sure that I'm cool in my oneness before I go looking for, you know what I'm saying, another partner. I don't have children. So these are the things that I can do before I do that. So that's what I have for you guys. Preferences versus principles. So I hope you guys use that concept again. You can tweak all perspectives, you know what I'm saying, your way. But these are things that I feel like needs to be considered. You know what I'm saying, when you're getting into relationships. Again, you're going to be doing yourself a huge favor. Okay? Like, again, you alive. You do got time. Time is an illusion, so you have it. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time. All right. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all giving me your time and energy. Have a few announcements. So, of course, we're going to start off with joining the wave. Return to the essentials. Of course, shop at tvscorner.square.site. We have all of your natural body care needs. Make sure you use the code PlumpQueen to get 10% off all of your purchase. And so you can have all this goodness. And also, TV's Corner has a sister company that they have launched, and it's called Namaste Namaro for all of my, how do I put this, all of my cannabis and, hemp, and smokers, okay? Like, we do a lot of energy work here. So I'm going to show you something. It made its debut on the show Cannabis and Conversation. Shout out to Andreas Cook and Perry Clark. That is a very dope situation they have. They have a podcast, where they sell, where they promote their hemp products, but we also have great conversation. Me and my cousin had a dope situation this Sunday, and I can't wait for you to air so you can see it. But we made a debut with their spliff. They call this a smudge spliff. I'm learning new things. I'm a recreational smoker. So this, when I first saw it, I thought you were supposed to smoke it. I just thought that I was about to go on this podcast and smoke this Bob Marley joint, and I'm glad she showed me what it is, and I did some research on it. But this is smudging, so it's just like sage, but this is a new, unique way of doing it. I look at it as intentional saging, because normally with sage you burn it and you kind of wave it around and change the air, but with this you kind of blow the smoke, you know what I'm saying, or blow the sage into the specific area that you want. So it's saging with intentions is how I like to do it. So this is really dope, and you guys should definitely try it. And also, they have what they call their enchanted finger wands. Now, as an amputee, having one arm, this is like the most amazing thing ever. So now I can multitask. I can, be making my flyers or, putting in, videos for my YouTube while I simultaneously, and enjoy my puff pass. And it's just right here on my finger. So like I said, I can do a little typing here, pick up stuff there, do all this other stuff, and to get right back to it. So you should definitely check this out. Namaste Namaro, square.site. That is where you can get this from. So like I said, the Davises are doing their Thug Thizzle. They're giving you all natural products. They're giving you spiritual energy. They just all around just goodness for your soul and for your body. That's why I love them so much. So make sure that you check them out on tps.square.site as well as namaste.namaro.square.site. Okay? And also, I saw somebody who enjoyed and was loving the song that I was playing earlier. That is an amazing local artist called Makita Nichelle. Now, that song I found on YouTube, but she has an album out right now called 336. Now, y'all know how I feel about the numbers. Y'all know how I feel about them. When I mean this sister has a voice This is just like being in high school again. I went to the Fame High School, so I was surrounded by talent, and this sister is definitely on point. I cannot wait to play this, you know what I'm saying, for you guys so y'all can hear her voice. She is amazing. So you go out here and you cop Makita Nichelle's 336 is amazingly dope. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you, you're going to be hearing lots of her, you know what I'm saying, as we go along. I believe that's it. Oh no, of course. You need to go on YouTube. Hit that button, subscribe, get the bell so you can get all this inspiration anytime that you feel like it. I know a lot of you folks don't be on Facebook all the time. I'm going to work my way to Instagram. I see that Instagram seems to be popping. So I'm going to have to figure out how to get on there too. But always go to AMPspirationTTV channel on YouTube. Like I said, subscribe, hit the bell so you can always get those notifications so you'll never miss any of this inspiration. All right. I love, love, love y'all. Appreciate your time and enjoy the rest of your evening. And as always, guys, be inspired. Peace.